Marcus Ely here again for Status Coup, still here in Iowa on the campaign trail at a Biden event in Manchester, Iowa. And I'm here with Doug Hawker. Doug, you said you were undecided. So what are you looking for from Biden tonight?
Well, I'm looking forward just for the chance to actually see him in person and hear what he has to say. I know that Joe Biden is a very viable candidate. I agree with most of the things that he supports, and I'm just trying to make my final decision. So I'm getting out to see as many candidates as I can possibly see.
All right, and what specific issues do you agree with Biden on?
Well, I agree. Number one, that says the current occupant of the White House needs to be removed as quickly as possible for the future well-being of the entire world. So I agree with him on that. I like Joe's opinions on a strong military. I like his working with our allies as opposed to sticking fingers in their eyes. I think he's also got a pretty strong emphasis on environmental protection, which is vitally important.
So Joe Biden has not really been in favor of the actual Green New Deal. He wants to bring us back into the Paris Accords, which it is at the very least a minimum. But right now, with Australia being on fire, 30% of the wildlife gone, it sounds like at this point the Green New Deal, which Biden hasn't even agreed on or co-signed on, would be a first step at this point because we're looking at catastrophe.
We are looking at worldwide catastrophe, and the environmental stuff, whether you call it the Green New Deal or it doesn't matter what you call it, the next president has to take this and make this a top priority. We have had some candidates say they would make that their number one priority upon getting to the office. Tom Steyer, for example. I agree with Tom on this one. And I'm sure Joe will come around. Joe's no dummy. He knows how the game is played. He's been there. He's a veteran politician, and we may need a veteran politician in there to get anything done. You can call it the Green New Deal or whatever you want to call it, but
Okay, so you're saying a veteran politician, then why is Tom Steyer viable? He's just a rich guy.
he is. But he's got good ideas. In fact, I personally believe almost all the candidates running on the Democratic side have their strong points, their weak points. I definitely agree with some of the things Tom Steyer says. I like Cory Booker. I like what he has to say. I've seen a number of candidates, but today, like I said, Biden's out to see if he can snag my vote at the caucuses here next month.
Yeah. So, in regards to candidates and you said experience a second ago is something that's very important to you. Bernie Sanders has been around for a very long time, and he seems to be one of the most viable candidates in terms of like the grassroots support. 1 million volunteers on the first day. The numbers just came out: 5 million unique donations, and then led in terms of money raised in Q4. So what do you think about Bernie's viability?
Well, I think Bernie has also earned his stripes. He's been around for many, many years, and if people have paid attention to his background and seen some of the old footage of what he's done over the years, he's definitely a viable candidate. Bernie does tend to, I don't know, not that it matters to me, but to some voters, he comes across as a little bit too liberal, so we say, on certain issues, and I think that could hurt him in the general election. And right now, I haven't decided that I am not going to vote or pull for him, but I'm thinking I'm going to be leaning more towards a moderate candidate in the middle that's got some experience.
Okay. Now, since you talked about a moderate candidate and the far left, I kind of want to bring up and get Iowans' opinions about the current, let's just call it what it is, war in the Democratic Party between the far left and the center. Now, most of this is amongst people that work for the party and activists. Normal voters are kind of just like, whatever, we like Democrats, from my experience and what I've seen. How do you feel about this current rift in the Democratic Party where we have the far left saying, hey, look, enough excuses from you guys. You're constantly taking money from all of these places that you turn around and say we got to work with them, and we're supposed to get these things done. We want these policies done. We want Medicare for all, which seems to be the litmus test this time around. We want something done with the student loan debt crisis. We want something done in terms of these wars. Where are you at in terms of that rift?
Rift, personally, I think that rift is a good thing because it gets the ideas out there. And even though you can have somebody on this side and somebody on this side, they're still they're all Democrats. And in the end, somebody's going to come out on top. But they're going to take not just their ideas; they're going to take everybody's ideas and filter it out, and they're going to bring it up to the forefront when they come against President Trump. So I think it's a good thing to have the rift. It's great because not all the politicians can be, there can only be one winner. Sometimes when people run, the best thing they can do is get their viewpoints out, get their strong points out, get their opinions out, get their expertise out there. And that allows the general population to get better educated. It lets their fellow running mates, shall we say, get better educated on all sides of all the issues. They have to be. They can't just sit there and say, my way.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.